Started as a backyard dream, it is now a retail reality. To tell us a bit more about his crazy adventure, we have Dave Rose with us. He is the owner and creator of Smoke Show Hot Sauce. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
So this crazy adventure started 2 years ago.
Yeah, about two and a half years ago, I made a sauce for myself in my backyard at my parents' place. Out in Vaudreuil, and
for the fun of it.
Yeah, for the fun of it. I mean, I was kind of over the sauces that were,
out
accessible to me.
Yeah.
You know, the sauce like Tabasco and Sriracha that were sitting in my fridge. I grew up eating so much of it. I said I wanted something a little bit different. I got a little bit carried away on YouTube, and I started watching all these YouTube tutorials on like how to make different sauces and stuff like that. So I went home. I got a bag of jalapenos at the Atwater Market, went home to my parents' place, and before dinner, I decided to char some peppers. And then that night, my brother was actually cooking all of us dinner, and he was smoking ribs, because we have smokers at my parents' place. And as I was bringing in these charred peppers, I was like, man, I should smoke these. This could, add a nice little flavor profile to the sauce. So I did. Brought it inside, and then as I was mixing my ingredients, I said, you know what, instead of using regular sugar, why not use maple syrup to kind of complement the smoky flavor?
Makes sense.
So I used a little bit of maple syrup, and what came out was a delicious sauce.
And apparently, as we're seeing right now, you can even use it in drinks. Forget about just ribs.
Yeah, I mean, it's fantastic. A lot of places in Montreal and outside of the city use it in cocktails.
Wow.
Obviously, in oysters and on food, it's exceptional.
What makes it interesting for a cocktail? Because I would have never thought of a hot sauce for a cocktail.
Yeah.
Right, so if you look at like a Caesar, for example, Tabasco, if you add it to a Caesar, it'll add a lot of heat or a little bit of heat and a little bit of flavor. This will add a lot of flavor. It'll give it like a smoky kind of smoky taste with a little bit of sweetness, and also make it spicy the way we all like it.
We all know how hard it is to actually be recognized when you do have a product. How hard was it for this Montreal product to actually make it into the market? Because you're sold at like a lot of restaurants. Mandy's in the Old Port uses you. You can find you in so many little specialty boutiques.
There was definitely, so I worked in the restaurant industry for a while.
Okay.
I worked at Joe B for about 5 years, and it was, I did kind of leverage a lot of those connections, knocked on a lot of doors, but at the end of the day, the product did sell itself.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of old school knocking on doors and saying, hey, I have a hot sauce for you to try.
And one of those people who opened the door to you was David McMillan.
Yes, Dave McMillan from the get-go has been nothing but supportive of me and my hot sauce. At the time, I was working at a different restaurant. He came in and was like, hey, I heard you're making a hot sauce. So I had him try it, and he totally, his
Ooh,
exact
I smell
word,
it from here.
It is hot.
Yeah, it's definitely
It's
one thing that
spicy.
struck me, because you were talking about how you were, fed up of the usual hot sauces in your fridge, but like it looks so different from what I've seen on shelves. Like it's obviously green because of the jalapeno peppers, but even the design of it. I mean, you would think it's a shampoo bottle from the back, right?
Exactly. So for us to stand out, I used, I wanted, the hot sauce industry is very diluted. And there's a lot of different hot sauces, and I find a lot of them have a skull on them and flames coming out of the mouth, and the skull's wearing like a sombrero or something.
Right.
And I wanted to keep it kind of minimalist. I wanted people to be able to see the sauce that they're getting.
You didn't want the smoke show.
No.
You
I
wanted
wanted
the
to
name
keep it
to talk
simple.
crazy?
I
There
wanted
you
it to be
go.
aesthetically pleasing.